Hey guys, what's going on? It's Blade again from Car Audio Security, and today we've got brand new products from Harman Kardon. The Harman Kardon are very much known to make factory upgrade audio systems for the likes of BMW, Land Rover, and many others. So you may have well been in a car or seen a system that says Harman Kardon on the grills, but they haven't, as of yet, until now, made an actual aftermarket upgrade audio system. So this is what we have in front of us here. It's essentially a full system for a vehicle and some specific install products for certain vehicles as well. So we're going to go through the full range that they've got to offer, look at the specs and go in depth with them. So let's get into it. So we're going to first of all look at the main part of the system, which is the two-way component system they have to offer. They have two options. So we're going to open these up and then we'll go into the other accessories they have to offer as well as the sub. So let's get into it. Okay, so we've got the two main 6.5-inch component sets here. We've got the Flow 601 CFS and the Flow 601 CF. Now, these are essentially the same speakers, the main difference being the CF comes with an inline crossover, so you can run them as a two-way or a three-way component system with an inline crossover, and the CFS is the same speaker, but it doesn't come with a crossover. So this is designed to be run active if you're running with a two-way or three-way system with each individual speaker on a channel. But let's dive into what you get in the box. So the main part is obviously your woofer. So this is a 6.5-inch mid or woofer, which is 6.5-inch around, and you have the magnet on the back. Now this is a really nice looking design. So the basket on the back is an aluminium basket, but they've called it a aluminium deep ceramic composite basket, which obviously just means it's essentially a composite of different materials. But it's a nice, really nice looking basket on the back, and the surround on the magnet looks very nice. It's not an actual very deep speaker either, so you're going to be able to mount this into many different applications and different vehicles and whatnot. But really nice design. You can tell it's very well made. And then you look at the face of the speaker, you've got that nice rubber surround coming over, and then you have Harman Kardon stamp on the front there. But yeah, they feel like very nice speakers. These can handle a decent amount of power as well. I think they're about 120 watts RMS and about 91 dB sensitivity. And the frequency range on these is very good. But before I get into that, let's have a look at the tweeter. So this is the tweeter that you get in the system. So as you can see, it's a normal 1-inch tweeter with the grill over the top. I believe this is a removable grill if you do need to take it off, but most of the time it's going to be mounted with this anyway. Obviously this is responsible for your higher frequencies, everything from probably about 2.5K upwards, depends on what you set your crossover points at if you're running it active. But this is going to be significantly important into the system. This is going to give you all your vocals, your mid bass, warmth, and this is going to give you all your higher frequencies. So as I said, frequency response earlier, the woofer plays down to 45 Hertz. The tweeter plays all the way up to 40 kilohertz, which then essentially makes these high res. That's why on the box you get the high res stamp. Now you can't actually hear 40 kilohertz. So the human hearing is up to, I think, 20 or 22. But apparently from what I've heard, you can actually feel 40 kilohertz, but we'll beg to differ. We'll try these out later and let you know. But these still look like a really nice system. Obviously when you get the crossover version, you'll run a crossover between the two speakers, and then the tweeter will give you all your highs and your woofer will give you all your lows. Now accessories you get two tweeter pods, so you can surface mount these if you want to. There is no option to have an actual pod. There's no pod in the box like that. But if you wanted to surface mount these, you have this kind of locking collar setup, so you can drill your hole, drop that in, put the tweeter in, and then you can essentially lock it in place. As well as that, you get two Harman Kardon stick-on badges for the grills. And you get a bag of accessories and hardware and whatnot, so you get speed clips and screws and whatnot. Now these don't actually come with grills themselves, so you will have to use the factory grills, so just bear that in mind, these don't come with grills. So that pretty much rounds up the 6.5-inch component setups. Like I said, both are exactly the same. One comes with crossovers, one comes without. These are 120 watts RMS, 91 dB, and will play from 45 Hertz all the way up to 40 kilohertz. Okay, so let's now move on to the other parts of the system that you can also purchase. We've got the tweeters and we've got the mid woofers. So let's grab them. Okay, so we have in front of us the two other parts of the system. We've got the Flow 75Ts and the Flow 300S. So this is a 3-inch mid in the Flow 300S, and then you've got the 1-inch tweeter. So if you wanted to buy the parts individually, or you wanted to add another set of tweeters to the system, or you have a 3-way setup you wanted to buy, you can buy the 3-inch and the tweeter completely separate. Now, the tweeter that comes in the 75T box is essentially the exact same as what you would get in the 2-way component setup. So I'm not going to go too much in depth of those. As I said, they're still the same kind of power rating, 120 watts RMS, 91 dB, and will play up to 40 kilohertz. Now with the 3-inch mid, this is what would sit in between the two speakers, between the 6.5 and the tweeter. These will play all of your vocals. It's really nice to have a 3-way setup because it essentially allows the speakers to be a lot more efficient with what they're playing. But again, you've got that same basket style, really, really nice basket design, really shallow. And then you've got the grill on the top, which I believe is removable. Let's see if that comes off. There we go. So as you can see, it's really, really nice design. Nice Harman Kardon logo on there and the little surround coming over. So if you had a vehicle, something like a Porsche 991, the 3-way setup. If you had Mark 5 Golf with a 3-way setup, so you could put these into that 3-way location. Now you can also use these as the BMW OEM fit speakers, so the little 4-inch that's supposed to sit in the door, you can actually use the speaker adapters and mount these as well. Now also with these, you can also pair these with the 8-inch woofer that they offer. Now these are designed to sit under the seat in the BMWs, but we'll get into those in a second. These are 60 watts RMS, 91 dB sensitivity, and will play from 200 Hertz all the way up to 10 kilohertz. So it's that perfect midpoint between the 6.5-inch or 8-inch woofer that you're going to use, all the way up to the tweeter. And another nice note to add, the grill is actually a magnet grill. So where I was struggling to get it off earlier, it's literally just a clip-on magnet grill, which is really nice. And then it locates into a little slot, as you probably heard, and then you can just take it out of the slot. So really, really nice design, probably one of the nicer 3-inch mids I've seen around. Okay, so here we have the 8-inch woofer or sub that they offer, which is the ATT. Now this is designed as a reverse mount woofer with basically it's all upside down, higgledy-piggledy inside. I'll go into that in a second, but this is specifically designed to OEM replace under-seat woofers in BMW. So you may not even know, but if you have a BMW from anything from like the E90 era, so like 2006 upwards, you will have under-seat woofers. Now this is designed to directly replace these, whether you have the factory Harman Kardon or the very base system. This is direct replacement with this collar that you get with them. So you would buy 2 of these to replace both under-seat woofers. You could also use this in a factory location in a door if need be. So for instance, like a Jaguar F-Type, for instance, you can use these in the doors, and they do work really, really well, to be honest, but these are specifically designed for BMWs. So it's got the same basket design, you have the same screw-in terminals at the bottom, and then unlike a normal average woofer, the spider, which is normally inside, is actually at the bottom, along with the dust cap that covers the bottom of the coil. Now this is what I mean about upside down higgledy-piggledy, because the actual moving part of it is up here, but you have the suspension part of it at the bottom. That gives it a really, really shallow depth, so you don't have a lot of depth to this speaker, so you can actually mount it under the floor. And you also get the rubber gasket, or the foam gasket, sorry, that sits around the bottom to seal everything in very nicely. Okay, so this is lastly the Feel 700. This is Harman Kardon's under-seat active subwoofer. So this is designed to sit under a seat or behind a seat and reflect bass off of a surface area and push it out into the vehicle. And active meaning it has a built-in amp, so everything is built in, it's all one piece. Die-cast aluminium baskets, a really, really nice feel to it, it's nice and heavy. As I said, all your inputs and outputs are on the back here. You do get the wiring with it. Now this is a 125 watt RMS sub, so we'll give you your low frequencies underneath what the 8-inch woofer would give you, but is designed to, like I say, sit under a seat. So in a BMW, it's not going to work under a seat, but in most other vehicles, if you've got quite a high seat, then you can put this under there. So on the back here, you have your input sensitivity or your gain, which is this one here. You've got your frequency adjustment from 50 to 150 Hertz, and you have your bass boost. Here you have a auto turn on switch, which you can turn on and off, and then you have a phase switch, which essentially flips the way it plays. These two plugs, so one of them is your main power and signal input plug. The reason why it's got a second plug is because you can actually put two of these and you can daisy chain them. So you can run a plug in and then a plug out to another one. So you can run two of these under both seats and get lots and lots of bass out of the vehicle. This side is your RCA, so you've got an RCA input and then an RCA output, again to chain to the other subwoofer. So it's a really, really nice design subwoofer, really hefty and well built. So again, just to run through the accessories you get in the box, as I said, you get two wiring looms. One of them is your main power input, doesn't matter which one. Your power input and your speaker input if you're running high level. If not, you would run RCAs into the input that side. Same with this side. Like I said, it daisy chains over to the other one. So you would essentially, the other one that you purchase, you would join these up with the looms. So it basically ends up looking like this. Okay, so that pretty much wraps up the overview of the brand new Harman Kardon products. So these are specifically designed for certain vehicles. You've got 6.5 inch upgrade options, which will fit a number of different vehicles. I can't even begin to tell you how many there are. But loads and loads of different vehicles will run a 6.5 inch component. If you've got a three-way setup, then you can add in the 3-inch mid, If you've got a BMW, you can add the tweeters, the 3-inch mids and the 8-inch under-seat subs. And if you're just looking for a little bit more bass in the vehicle, you can add the under-seat subwoofer into the vehicle. These are a fantastic upgrade option, really, really high quality. Obviously these are high res certified, so we'll play up to 40 kilohertz. You can run these passive or active. So if you wanted to run with a processor, a multi-channel amplifier, you've got loads and loads of options with these. So these are very much a premium product. To be honest, we do a lot of upgrades to the factory Harman Kardon systems in vehicles because they're okay, but you can definitely get better. So if you were to upgrade, even let's say you had an E92 M3 like Raj, for instance, you could upgrade this vehicle, if it even had Harman Kardon in there from factory. If you upgraded with this, run a bit more power to the speakers, you're definitely going to have a massive improvement. So let's go over the pricing quickly. The Harman Kardon Flow 80s are £280 each. The Feel 700 under-seat woofer is £350 each. The 601 CFS, so the 6.5 inch components without the crossover, are £500. The 601 CF with the crossovers are £600. The Flow 300S 3-inch mid-woofers are £250 for a pair. And lastly, the Flow 75Ts are £80 for the pair. Okay guys, so that wraps up the video for the brand new Harman Kardon aftermarket speaker upgrade options. As I've said, these are a fantastic quality audio upgrade option, but from a very well-known OEM specific brand. We are actually going to be installing these into Raj's E92 M3. So the speaker options that I've shown you that will work in this vehicle, we're going to upgrade Raj's E92. We're going to amplify these speakers. So look out for this video. It's going to be coming very, very soon. And for now, that's it from me. Make sure you like, share and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.